Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Saturday afternoon, early evening, could be at night, depending on what time zone you guys are all in, because thank you for all of your support, because everybody around the world is different time zones. But here where I am, it's just getting sunset and it's going to cool off finally, because it's been hot. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. The last couple days around the country, in the state I'm in, the heat wave is pretty intense, but it's not terrible. But most people down there in Arizona and Palm Springs, California, they experience 115, 120. So anyway, hey, listen, today's and yesterday's articles, hey, for what it's worth, I took a couple days off. I was doing my other hat, which is continuing education. That's what we do, right? Make sure those compliance departments take care of us and keep us in check, so that we do a good job for the community and the citizens around the world. If you guys understand, probably some of you know that, but I do work for the Veterans Administration. So God bless America, God bless all the veterans in our country, and Militiaman and Crew. We do our best to just do what we do. We do what we're trained to do, and we've been around a long time. A lot of us really have a component of good faith for our respective countries and our respective people. Okay, and every one of you that's out there tonight are kind of a part of that, because the fact is that we're bringing information that comes from so many different places around the world. And so if you're an Iraqi, or if you're from England, or if you're from Australia, New Zealand, or if you're from Europe, France, Germany, everybody's included. Okay, Vietnam, Asia, Hawaii, I don't know, everybody, right? Thank you guys for this one too. This is a Hawaiian shirt that came from Hawaii. I share them because I feel comfortable wearing stuff like that, because I've been around the coast my whole life, well, half of it. But keep in mind, doesn't matter if you're in the pines, in the forests, in the mountains, in the desert, doesn't matter. All of us have a goal, and that's to get some information, and I bring that to the best of my ability. Okay, so a customs identifies centers implementing the ASYCUDA system and confirms its full automation. I don't know if you guys are feeling the same as me, but they're basically saying full automation. So that tells a story in and of itself. It's like, well, why in the world would a world global entity like the ASYCUDA system, well, effectively a branch of or a portion of other world global entities, say something so bold? Probably because they're ready to go. So I'm going to look at it this way. It says the General Authority of Customs identified today, well, this was yesterday, Friday, the ports and centers included the application of the ASYCUDA system, while clarifying that the most prominent aspects of its cooperation with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which is the UNCTAD. It says the implementation of the system contributed to increasing revenues, so they've been using it. It was implemented under the direct guidance under the Prime Minister, Shia al-Sudani, followed up by, guess who? We haven't heard from her lately, Taif Sami, the Finance Minister. We started first with the most important customs and center, which is the Welcome Square in Qasr Port, and we followed that with 2 marine customs centers in Basra. So they're telling you how they kind of sort of began it. After that, we moved to the Safwan border crossing, and then the center adjacent to the sisterly state of Kuwait. So they're right there with Kuwait. And they headed to the Treble Center, the border center adjacent to the border with the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. And the Arar Center adjacent to the Kingdom of where? Saudi Arabia. That impact to me is huge, you guys, because we've been involved in this for a long time. They've got that stated that the systems confirms its full automation with all those countries. Big. All right. The implementation is currently taking place in 9 custom centers that have been fully automated. I believe that they're going to probably not only have the 9, but they're probably going to have many more, and they're probably going to shut down some of those that aren't supposed to be out there. But we'll watch and see how that goes. It says this contract included training cadres by the UN experts and building Iraq teams with efficiency and skill, and noting that this system is applied in over 107 countries already around the world. So look, the money's going to start to flow, and Iraq is about ready to go. So let's see, as far as the organization of the UNCTAD, we have another article that says, what does it have to do with international trade? Well, this particular article talks about the commerce. The Ministry of Commerce announced today that the UNCTAD technical meetings on the accession of Arab countries to the World Organization in Istanbul. So the World Trade Organization, where were they? They were in Istanbul. They were talking about Iraq, I believe. And they today participated in technical meetings organized by the UN, which lasted for 2 days. It discussed experiences of Arab countries in joining the World Trade Organization. Well, they were already having, as of the 18th, for that day, accession talks with Iraq in Geneva. So around the world, you have other things going on. Perfect, I think. The Director General of the Department of Foreign Economic Relations, he goes on to say that the meetings dealt with discussing the outputs of the 13th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization, the March of Accession, so the March of Accession of Arab countries to the organization, and how Iraq to benefit from these experiences in its march to join, so in its process to join. It is phenomenal data in the sense that Iraq's going international. We know that there's components that have to be met prior to that, so that's what we're looking for, that component that's prior to it. Hashimi says that Iraq's participation in these technical meetings enhances the experience of the negotiating teams, pushes it and moves it forward and rapidly, okay, which is achieving full accession into the World Trade Organization. So the World Trade Organization to be, at this forefront. Interesting enough, I looked at their calendar today on the WTO site, and it didn't really say much more about it, but it just seems like there's been more going on than they've shared. But we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. The participation is part of the ongoing efforts made by the Ministry of Commerce to strengthen Iraq's international and economic relations and take advantage of the opportunities available to enhance the country's economic and trade development. So, look, the whole region, the world is watching Iraq at the moment. That's my takeaway from it. So we're just going to have to keep an eye out and see how they play this out. Is even tomorrow and the next day. It's like, well, why won't you share more? I mean, we all obviously know that you have talks about the accession, so what else do we have in store for us? Oh, well, interestingly enough, yesterday, right, I believe it was Friday, but it could have been late Thursday night, depending on time zones, but removing the zeros from the Iraqi currency, talks, returns, and possibility of implementation. So how is that possible if they're going to do the things that we do without having value? I'm fairly sure, you guys, that when they talk about removing zeros from the Iraqi currency, they're talking about returning to a previous era, and they're talking about the glory days, and I think everybody really kind of knows in the country too. I just can't say we can prove it from in ink, in print, right? But the expectation is Iraq is going to bring value to their currency. And we know that by al-Sudani's comments specifically, is that the Iraqi dinar would be $1, which will equal 1.32 dinars. If you do the math on it, you're going to see that it's different, okay? And it does bring value. It doesn't necessarily literally get it a one-to-one perspective because international valuations and considerations are taken into place. So be careful on that aspect of it, but also remember that when you provide a real effective exchange rate to that process, that value of, say for instance, that 0.76, which is the reciprocal of 1.32, forgive me, you'll find that that's going to be part of that process. So effectively, once they delete the zeros, it will be, effectively a 1-to-1 ratio, but that value is the key. And then when they apply a real effective exchange rate based off all the good quality information we've been giving you guys in respect to non-oil revenues, which is tourism, which is natural gas, which is liquid gas, phosphates, all the extra minerals, aside from the addition, they've even increased their gold pricing, not gold pricing, but gold reserves, but yet gold's flying. It's over what, 2,400 bucks? Think about that for a minute. In 1999, it was 275 bucks. 275. 1999 and 2001, double bottom. Our good friend Pompey Peter across the pond probably remembers that kind of well, because I think our dear friend Gordon Brown made an interesting move at that time. But anyway, we won't leave it. We'll leave that alone. Smiling. All right. Okay. So anyway, removing the zeros from the Iraqi currency, talks returns, possibly implementation, removing a specific number of zeros. Right, they do that. That's how they do it. But how do they do it? They do it because the fact remains is that they have the ability and they have the assets in ground. So they didn't have a valuation on a country that once they, all the war, all that stuff happened. Obviously, the depreciation in the Iraq's currency went from $3.22 down to like, I think it fell as far as 4,000 to 1, which today it's 13.20 officially, or 13.10 officially. I would say on the CBI's website that's 13.10. But anyway, as a result of deleting zeros, it's not a solution to all economic problems. So they're discussing this process. Look, this is like a 4-page document. It's 3 or 4 pages. I got it on legal paper, but anyway, it could be 5 pages. But it doesn't make too much difference. The bottom line is that the project to remove the zeros from the currency is still ongoing. It's still ongoing. This is today, you guys, or yesterday, and they just basically are telling you that they're back and forth according to experts, one way or another. They're going to delete the zeros, but you just don't create value by deleting zeros and implementing small category notes if you don't have any value. You can't take 1,310, for instance, and which is 0.0007633 to the dollar, and then just delete the currency and then have and implement it without changing the value. It doesn't work that way. Why in the world would you want coins? For what? I mean, 0.0007, for instance, is far less than a penny. You guys, settle down. Pay attention. Okay, removing zeros helps in issuing small currencies such as coins. It enables the repricing of small goods at lower prices. So they're going to have to reprice the country. Does that take time? I don't know. How long is it going to take? I don't know. How long does it take people to understand that they have purchasing power? I don't think it takes long. Not at all. Okay, so what does it do? It facilitates their circulation, okay, of the currency and their survival in the markets, okay? And it gives a positive psychological boost to the population with the fact that the Iraqi dinar can now buy more goods and services. There you go. Therefore, countries that do this aim to remove zeros to what? To restore confidence in the local currency. How many times have I talked to you guys, many times, about what Iraq has said, what during the UN Assembly session has said, what the Davos, okay, what did they say about Iraq? They said they were going to restore confidence. They say it again, okay. Down here at the bottom, for instance, there's like 4 or 5 extra paragraphs, so I won't get into it all, but the project will be successful if an exchange rate of 1,000 dinars for every $1 is reached. At that time, deleting the zeros will achieve its economic feasibility, as the exchange rate will be transformed into 1 dinar for every dollar, effectively 1 to 1. My view, once they do that, once Al-Alaq does that, that's where everybody should be really excited. The citizens will get purchasing power. They know that. They're not going to have coins again, which they haven't had for almost 21 years or more. They're going to have them again. They're going to have to introduce all that stuff. So the education process is underway. Education is key, okay, because that's part of the process. And what we're seeing by them stating these things this late in the game just gives us reaffirmation that all the people that have been saying blah, 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 haven't been paying attention, and they're going to like choke on it tonight, okay? That's my view. Look, the process to delete the zeros has not been denied by the central bank. Al-Alaq has not come out and denied it. In opposite, he's actually stated, or these folks are basically reiterating it, and that's huge, okay? So let's see what the next one we have in store for us is going to be. Something about, I'm pretty sure these are the last, about education, okay? Because what? Proposed measures to address the rise of the dollar. I believe that this report is going to be about stabilizing the exchange rate, reform of the financial system. So what does it say? It says it's the proposed measures to address the rise of the dollar. He's a doctor, Rahid Hashemi. He says that stabilizing the exchange rate and strengthening the dollar, and namely for what? Reform of the financial and banking system. That's what I've already said. Who was going to be the savior of the reform of the financial banking system? Iraq. They talked about their own country. They talked about the global financial system. So they reiterate it. What are they going to use for that? They're going to use non-oil exports, and they're going to increase the state's foreign exchange reserves. Well, why would you have the ASYCUDA system if you weren't going to do that? Why would you be in talks with the WTO if you weren't going to do that? You gotta go, whoa, hold on. All of these things are happening at the same time? Of course it does. Of course it is. It says basically what they're trying to do too is that it's enhancing transparency in local banking operations, especially with regarding to buying and selling foreign currencies. We've been hearing that they want to cease the foreign currency sales, and they're trying to get rid of the dollar, essentially because why? They're not going to use it anymore. It's not going to be needed. What does it do? It helps reduce illegal speculation and monopoly. That's what some of these guys realize, that some of the information that we get out of Iraq is just utter nonsense, man. They don't want this to happen, and we have evidence of the fact that that's a fact. Okay, and I think I have one piece tonight. If I don't hold me to it, but I have one where Al-Maliki, his group was one of the groups that was really against it. Okay, so keep of that in mind, because he didn't want Iraq to prosper. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Okay, support for small medium enterprises. That's what any economy wants. I'm only paraphrasing a few of these things because here, this one again this one's another 4 or 5 pages of education for the citizens. But anyway, it says that they want to support small medium enterprises. Their effective use of monetary policy to adjust interest rates, that's global information. Control inflation, support the exchange rate, that's their focus. What have they done? They've done these things. What else have they been doing? Combating corruption. Sure enough, combating corruption in all its forms, especially at customs and ports and banks, it contributes to enhancing confidence, there's that word again, in Iraq's financial system and help controls foreign currency flows. Opening the door for foreign investment, non-oil sectors, right? Improving the investment environment, reducing bureaucracy, providing incentives to investors. They're increasing foreign currency inflows and it's all strengthening the local economy. It says here international cooperation. Cooperation with international financial institutions such as who? The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank. You see what I'm getting at? This is today, you guys, or if it wasn't late last night, but okay. It says the technical and financial support necessary to implement the required economic reforms. So the World Bank, IMF give technical financial support. We've known that. They've been telling us that. Necessary to implement the required economic reforms. I can go on down and says that the canceling the dollar auction. We all know that that was a scam. That was like the biggest money drain on Iraq in probably any history, but they have to cease it, and that's probably what they're going to do, and it looks like probably immediately. Okay, this is considered one of the most important measures required by the central bank. So just what I said, immediately, it says one of the most important measures. Achieve stability in the exchange rate because continuation has major effects on the currency and market and on the Iraqi economy. It's the most important of which are the dollar auction. It's a source of manipulation, speculation, as it's used to make quick profits at the expense of market stability. So they're addressing it. So this is all education. Enhancing transparency, abolishing the auction can reduce corruption, illegal speculation. Notice that? Illegal speculation. Enhancing confidence in the financial system. Enhancing financial, again. Stimulating the local economy. You guys got to love this stuff. I'm actually just I'm absorbing it as I'm talking to you guys. It's brilliant. Okay, the cancellation may boost demand for the Iraqi dinar. Really? You're going to boost the demand for Iraqi dinar? At 1310? No. Why? Because they're going to delete the zeros and apply an international calculation, in my opinion. Okay? There are procedures that must accompany the cancellation of the auction. Okay, so they got something else going on that I'm not really 100% sure of, but hold on. Developing the currency market, developing the local currency market. So developing the local currency market, well, of course, making it more transparent and efficient through which the exchange rate can be determined. So in other words, they're going to do something, and then they're going to have a situation where once they do it, they're going to have to keep it stable. And basically, it's going to be an exchange based on supply and demand. All right, so we're going to have to find out what kind of an exchange rate they give to this currency, because obviously people are going to gravitate towards value. All right, they don't gravitate to no value, they gravitate towards value, which value means security and stability. That's, to me, that's what I believe. So there has been great resistance and great political pressure. I brought up Maliki, for instance. I think we have an article that says it. It's not me, it's what I found. Okay, because the currency auction is backed by big whales. I don't know if Maliki fits that, but I think that the Panama Papers suggest that he's got a lot of money. Okay, profiteers and politicians who will exert all kinds of pressure to fight the cancellation process. You're going to have a lot of negative information that comes out, a lot of cross-contamination when it comes to real data. And guess where you're going to get it? You're going to get it from the blowback from all, guess what? The ASYCUDA system is going to cut off corruption. The dollar auction, once it goes bye-bye and Al-Alaq comes out and changes the value of the currency, they just dried up a pool of income. I'm only explaining what I believe is happening. And I'm just smiling and loving it. Okay, so anyway, this article, I think I get to that point, but look, it's like 4 pages. So it's in Patreon, patreon.com/MM, our militiaman and crew, .com. And you guys can get all this stuff. And then you have Discord chat room, and you'll see that it's vibrant, and a lot of people in there are having a great time. Hey, lastly, addressing the problems of Iraqi financial system is another article. I think you guys are going to just finally get to the point, but who's involved in this today? It's the Central Bank of Iraq. What are they doing? They're saying they're responsible of implementing monetary policy. It's an educational piece. It's about 5 pages. It's, again, tonight I should say, has been, off the charts. And again, I don't think I should go over every little bit and piece, but I'll give you a couple points just because, again, it's 5 pages. We don't need to go over every piece. They're talking about objectives, price stability, exchange rate stability, encouraging economic growth, right? They talk about what does it include. It includes banks such as Rafidain Bank and Rashid Bank. We all talked about Ernst & Young merging those 2 banks together. For what reason? To go private, okay? Huge. Why? Well, because the public sector and the private sector have partnerships. Iraq is changing. What are they also talking about? The real estate bank, the agricultural bank. We talked about that. They've already done that. What else they talk about? The ISX, places where stocks and bonds are traded. Okay, they're bringing that up today. To what are they doing? Why? Objective, promote investment, development financial markets, development of financial markets. Oh, they're going to be the financial saviors. That's what they've talked about. Responsibilities they have to manage their budget. They have to manage public debt. They have to ensure compliance with financial laws and standards. They need to provide financial advisory services to people, achieving investment returns for clients, enhancing local foreign investments. Okay, so another thing is they're going to do, they're going to have a little bit of challenges. They're going to, what hinders it? Corruption hinders it. Of course it does. Bureaucracy does. Inflation does. A lot of different things. But they have that all documented and they have it in their consideration. And that's really important because we can see that all the things that they outline in these articles, again, today, right? They're talking about educationals and they're giving reasoning for why they're going to do what they do. The article about delete the zeros is off the charts because they haven't done anything to deny that they're not going to do the project. So that's where you guys should be pumped on this Saturday evening. And I'm so thankful that everybody's here. I don't know where Wally, Winnie, and or Ophelia are tonight, but if they were here, they'd be yowling, okay? I think it's just too hot outside. But anyway, thank you everybody for being with me tonight. And one thing's for certain is that I appreciate everybody being with me. I thank every single person for their support because it helps keep Militiaman and Crew solid. Again, here, proper news, analysis to the best of our ability. And if you like that and appreciate it, hit the like button, subscribe. And also, if you guys choose, that we have those 3 options as you can find in the details in our audios and videos. Thank you very much for your support. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.